Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to two legends and geniuses. Joe, how are you?
I'm very good, thanks, Alex Belfield. Have you got a little a musical thing that it plays in?
No, we don't do any of that. We haven't got a budget for that sort of thing. Would you like to sing
one now? Do you want me to do one now? Alex Belfield talking about stuff.
That's great.
And you can get a sound bite of that and then use it on everything if you want.
You see, I'm not surprised both of you are in the world's leading musicals with this type of voice.
Yeah, especially in.
Thanks.
What's it like then? I mean, for the first time you're working together, I mean, you've been in the business a long time and then you're on stage with your dad in Spamalot. That's got to be thrilling.
It's lovely. It was really nice. I mean, the first week that we did it, I could have had a little cry. I might have cried. I cried a little bit, but I didn't tell anybody about it. But it's nice. It's nice after, you know, like you say, we've known each other for ages. And it's nice to actually, you know, sort of do something together properly. It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, I've known him for 26 years, so there's no getting to know the person on stage. Oh, I wonder what he's going to be like. What's he going to be like if he gets the ump? I wonder what is he going to be happy with that? Well, if I get the ump with him, but I'll tell him about it. I just tell him. He doesn't. I don't need to tell him. He knows in my eyes. Oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Not half. I have to keep remembering his acting because he plays the king, so quite a lot the king looks angry. And whenever he looks at me angry, I don't think he's the king. I think, oh God, what have I done? What have I done? But he's very rarely angry at me. So it's nice, it's lovely. Yeah, we found the lines, haven't we?
When we actually go into the theatre, we had to leave the relationship behind. And I actually said to him, I said, do you want to call me Joe, Dad, whatever? So he just...
I said that I still wanted to call him Dad because that was pushing it a bit. But we are still Dad, aren't we?
Yeah, well, I'm still Dad.
Yeah, well, I'm not Dad. That'd be weird. We didn't like reverse it, so I became Dad. That'd get a bit creepy. Do you want to do it for a day?
Oh, just for a day.
All right, but not tell anyone.
Yeah, should we do it? Do you want to do it tonight or tomorrow?
Do it right now if you want.
No, tonight, do it now.
Put your hand down. You're on telly.
That'd be a bit creepy for the rest of the interview if you did that. I want to talk about your career because it's fascinating. You haven't used your father, Dad, Joe, as a way of getting work. You've created your own path, which is amazing. You must be thrilled about that because you're not defined by Joe Pasquale, are you?
Well, no, not. Well, I try not to be. I don't know. It was a decision that we all made a few years ago where I wanted to go into acting. That was the decision I made. And by changing my name, I just became another name on a list. If I was Joe Pasquale Jr., even if I was going up for a drama to play, you know, a 13th century boy, they still would have looked at that and gone, oh, Joe Pasquale Jr. So I've got an expectation to live up to already, you know, and that's never a good thing, I don't think. So I just wanted to sort of wipe the slate clean and do well because I was all right, or not do well because I was pants. And yeah, I stick by it. I think it was all right.
Yeah, I think people have an expectation whether he goes into audition, if they know about whose son he is, and they'll go, oh, they like me or they don't like me, but either way it has a bearing on the way they would look at him. And we spoke about it for ages before, and we both went, I think it's the best thing to do is go in as your own person, and he still is his own person.
And
really.
I think in spite of we've been doing this for a couple of months now, people still don't know. People will come and watch the show and leave the show not knowing that we're related, and I quite like that. You know, I'm quite proud of myself that I've managed to sort of do something, you know, on my own back and stuff, and it's nice after doing some stuff to come and work with Dad properly. It's lovely.
I first interviewed you in this theatre in Nottingham nearly 20 years ago, and there you were doing what you're still doing, which is making people laugh. Back in those days you were doing your variety, which of course you're doing again through the summer. I mean, fundamentally you've become an actor, but you are a comedian, aren't you? That's what you are, a funny man.
Well, that's a matter of opinion. Some people, I think that's the bad thing about comedy. It's so subjective. One person thinks someone's funny, another person thinks, well, it's about as funny as a kick in the head. And that's what comedy is all about. There's room for everybody in it, and everybody has their own audience, really. But I've never had a big plan. You know, whatever someone knocks on the door, do you want to come and do this? Yeah, I'll go and do that. If it's acting, if it's doing a panto, if it's doing a voiceover work. I do a lot of voiceover work. I enjoy the voiceover stuff because they know what I sound like. They book you for that. You don't go in and say, I did one a little while ago and they said, can you do it? I did an hour in a studio for this teddy bear, and at the end of it they went, that's great, Joe, but can you do it with a northern accent and a deep voice? So I went, no. And they went, why not? I said, well, I haven't got a northern accent and I can't do a deep voice. Why don't you get a bloke from up north with a deep voice? He went, oh yeah. So I never got the job. So now I just get booked for what I sound like, which is great.
You really ought to think about doing adverts, because with your voice I think you could make a career in that.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think there's any product out there that would have me, really. Oh, I've had an accident.
Is it still weird? It is for me when I'm in the gym and they're playing through ITV or something, and that voice comes on every 4 minutes, literally.
It's not weird for me. I've got to be honest. No, it's not
weird for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some really, you know, I'm in my mid-20s. I've got a girlfriend, and you know, sometimes, you know, you're having a nice evening.
When you're having a nice evening, you know
what I mean. No, listen, we're on YouTube. We're all adults. We know what we're talking about. And then your dad pops up onto, I've had an accident. All right, Dad. Jesus, I'm trying to, you know,
do stuff.
Court a lady. What?
That can be awkward, those moments. What has it been like being the son of Joe Pasquale? Because, I mean, I've always been a huge fan, and you are brilliant on stage, but he is a bit strange, isn't he? Let's be honest.
He was doing this before I came along. So, it's, you know, for me growing up particularly, it wasn't like he did something weird. It was everybody, what does your dad do? He's a lawyer, he's a plumber. What does your dad do? Well, he sets his hands on fire in front of 200 people every night. You know, and I've just always been used to that. I think it would be odd for me if he didn't do it. So no, you've just been normal. He's also always been this man. He never sort of put on the front of being anything other than the bloke he is, which is strange. Is one way of putting it. But you know,
I think during this interview I've been quite normal, really.
You've been quite laid back.
I've been very laid back. It's the chair that's doing that. That's just going back of the seat.
I know.
Yeah.
It's one or the other, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shall I go up and you go back?
Leave it.
All right.
When I first saw you, what I loved was that you entertain two different types of people. You've got the parents who sort of get the adult level to your act, but the kids just love you. And I know that's a big, important part of what you do, isn't it? That you are a variety act that families can enjoy together.
Yeah, it wasn't a conscious decision as such. I just think it's the era that I grew up in and watching that sort of the people that were influenced by. You know, I love Tommy Cooper, I love Normal Wisdom, I love Bob Monkhouse. Bob Monkhouse was just an idol to me, all these people. So that's the generation that I grew up with. I think that defines on what you do then as well.
And then when I first saw you here, you did that thing where you made it snow, and it was utterly magical. And what's great about your act is there's sort of a tragedy to some of it, isn't there? Certainly in bits like that, and then there's a painting bit you do, which are beautiful bits. How long did they take for you to learn them as well as you do?
Well, the snow routine is something that every magician in the world has done and still does around the world. So once, you know, I've done that, I've knocked that on the head. I haven't done it for a long time now, but it was something that my mum loved. And sadly, she died. I did it on a Royal Variety show about 15 years ago, and so I do that in memory of my mum every now and then. I don't do it on a regular basis, but yeah, it's that sort of stuff. You just have to learn the palming of it and that sort of malarkey. But for me, it's more than just a magic trick. For me, that was something from my mum that she loved. But the painting, that sort of stuff, you just get used to. You know, I've been painting since I was a kid, so once you've done it in the shed a few times, you learn how to do it. It's just the same as anything. It's the same as learning a joke, learning a script, learning a song. You learn how to do a painting, and that's it. And if you're doing the painting night after night, it comes at you. You know, and I do that painting in about 3.5 minutes. And I change the painting every year. It's never the same painting. So I'm working on a new one this year, which will be great. I can't tell you what it is, but it's very exciting painting. It's all about madness.
And you love art. I mean, that's a big thing in your life, isn't it? I mean, there's the flying, there's the science stuff, and then, of course, there's the art. They're three big passions of yours.
Well, there's another one, because I go boxing as well. I get beat up a lot, but, I go boxing. I like a bit of boxing.
Can you breathe in when you say that? This is for TV.
Yeah, but I can't talk when I breathe in. I like getting beat up a little bit. I also like beating up, because there's a lot of cops from the Met go down the gym that I go to. So it's nice punching a copper on the nose and getting away with it. Go, I can't nick me now. You're in a gym. You hit me first. I'll hit you now. And I hit him as hard as I can.
You're going into that Joe Pasquale thing now. Did you notice?
No, I didn't even notice, but I do. Seriously, I do hit him. I hit him as hard as I can. I go, it's a copper. I'm punching a copper now. How many people can say they punched a copper this morning and walked away laughing? Go, ha ha.
And then, of course, when you became a great actor, I think for me was when we saw you in The Producers, because that's a heavy script and one that you delivered perfectly. For you, was that a sort of seminal moment where the jungle thing had enabled you to get this leading role where you were able to just shine with this amazing material?
No, do you know what? For me, when it comes to the acting, one of the best things for me, the first job I did acting-wise, I did a couple of bits on telly, but a play, I did a play called The Nerd, which is where Rowan Atkinson developed Mr. Bean from, and it was written by a guy called Larry Shue, who sadly died in a plane crash, and it was just a genius piece of work, and it was on the West End and I took it on tour. Then after that I did Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, a great Tom Stoppard play with a great actor called Terry Alderton, who was a great comic as well. He was in EastEnders last year, but it was those moments doing the more serious stuff like Rosencrantz was that gave me the confidence to go and do other stuff as well. And as you just said, when you get a script like the producers from Mel Brooks, you can't better it. You don't have to change it. Just do what is written on the script. Say what's written on the page. Go out and do it. It's the same as this with Spamalot. You say what's on the page. You do as directed, and it's comedy by numbers almost. You say that, you move there, you do that, you'll get the laugh every single night, and it works every single time, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. It's one of those things that if you try and work too hard, then it has the opposite effect of what you would think. So you have to literally just sit back and try and do as little as possible, which when you're in a bigger room, you know, it's sometimes 1,500, 2,000 seaters, that's really hard to... Because there's just that thing in you that says, oh, you're not doing much now, you've got to work harder. But it's odd like that, isn't it?
You have to trust, you know, the director, Chris Luscombe, says, trust in the script. Just trust in the script and do it as I've said. And Eric Idle came to see the show last week, and it was great talking to Eric Idle. Man's a genius. He's completely mad, completely barking mad. He makes me look completely sane. And he was just brilliant to talk to. We was in for a couple of hours. And just listening to the man talk about how it developed, how he got I'm All Alone, how that came, how that developed. And the week before, John Dupree, who wrote the music with him, came to see the show. And just listening to these people talking about how this show developed is just amazing.
And then for you, when did you decide that you were going to be a proper actor opposed to a comedian or a magician? Because you could have gone any of those ways, couldn't you?
Yeah, what with that sort of the decision to pick one, I don't know. I think it's one of those things that I was always aware that I think if you can like doing a few things, you should always pick one of them as a primary choice, because if you try and do them all, you're never going to really succeed at any of them. So I think I got down to the last 3 people to play Harry Potter when I was 11. And that sort of
but I got down to the last 2. So, yeah.
It caused a lot of arguments.
Yeah, it was between me and Daniel Radcliffe. In the end, you know, they went with Dan, but, you know.
Yeah, because he kept kicking him in the shin.
Yeah. And then, of course, in Equus, you wouldn't have wanted to stand naked with a horse, would you?
Well, in fact, the horse didn't want to stand naked with me. That's what you need to say there.
Well, none of us like competition, do we? And then back to you and being an actor, of course, Hollyoaks came along. And then I need to talk to you about a feeling I've never had, which is being attractive. What is that like when the ladies think you're delicious?
No, again, I'm in your bracket. I think I'm like the friend zone personified. I think if I'm used, if you're out in a club, I am a reference point, and they go, "You see that one with the glasses there? Like, look at the bloke next to him." But it's nice to be in a building surrounded by other attractive people that people do look at and sort of go.
Do you think so? It just makes me feel inadequate. I don't like that. I like being around ugly people.
Yeah, ugly people have normally got better personalities, which I find. But it's weak. Some of them look like... There was one fella called Danny who played my cousin, Danny Mack, and he looked like he was wearing a mask of his own face. It was like he'd been airbrushed every day. And he was really annoying, because when I first saw him on telly, I thought, I hope you're a really nasty bloke. You know, when people are really good looking, you think you're horrible. And he's one of the nicest people in the world. Because I think if I was that, I had like a jawline and stuff like, and good hair that wasn't receding, I think I would probably make a decision just to be not a very nice bloke, because I was that pretty, I could do it.
It must be an amazing feeling, especially on that show. I mean, I imagine sort of the green room is just one sleeping with another, because I mean, they're so beautiful, why wouldn't they?
Absolutely, yeah. It's like Roman times, isn't it? Everybody just going, yeah, well, we're here, we're beautiful, we can, why not? Yeah.
Did you love it? It seemed like it was a great time in your life, and then of course you left.
Yeah.
At this point, I mean, how do you view that period?
I with great affection. I mean, I learnt a lot there. Before that, I'd only done sitcoms and things. I say I only done sitcoms like I didn't enjoy it. I loved doing sitcoms, but you go into something like Hollyoaks and they do throw you in the deep end. You have no amount of time to sort of rehearse anything, and there's some really serious stuff. You know, my wife died in there and stuff and that sort of things, and I didn't know if I could act really. I knew I could act like a div and be relatively amusing, but I didn't know if I could do something, you know, serious. So, you know, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about what I do and how to act. Whether I can or not is still, the jury's out. But, you know, I like to think of it as a good time that I had.
What's it like when you wake up in the morning? Can I ask you both this? And you've been on a show for you, I'm a Celebrity, for you, Hollyoaks, and something's happened that the whole world's got an opinion about, and you find yourself either on a front page or top of Twitter. Is that still surprising, or do you just ignore it?
No, I just ignore it. I'm not even on Twitter anymore. I've still got the thing, but I don't do it anymore. I'm not bothered about what someone's eating. I'm not bothered about putting what I'm eating on. I'm not bothered. Everybody's got an opinion nowadays, and they're entitled to it, and that's fine. But I don't have to listen to it or read it and then comment on it, and that just expands what it is. If it's all great stuff about it, then fantastic. I'm really pleased people like it. If it's negative, then you're entitled to your opinion. So I'm better off just leaving it alone for me.
Are you one of those that believes if you believe the good reviews, you've got to believe the bad
I was
ones?
just about to say that's what you always
I've
told
always
me,
said.
is if you believe the good ones, and you've got to believe the bad ones. So just respect people's opinions and don't believe any of them.
Yeah, you have to work on that audience that night, and if they enjoy it, that's it. If you enjoyed the experience, they've enjoyed the experience, and that's it. And you can't please all the people. It's all the old adages coming out here. And if they like it and you've enjoyed it, and that's it. Leave it alone, move on to the next gig, and that's it. You can't carry this stuff about the rest of your life. All you've got to do is open a newspaper and turn the telly on. There's so many bad things going on in the world, and someone's having a go at you because, well, I didn't like that. Well, really? Okay, well, go and read the newspaper and see what's really going on in the world.
The technicalities of this show, I think I certainly know after a few weeks of doing it, you've been doing it a lot longer, is that it's nothing to do with us. And the reason, when we get to the end of the show, the reason that every night everybody's enjoying it so much isn't because of that. We've worked as hard as we can, but it's not us, it's the show. It's the way the show's written, it's the order that it's in,
the
everything.
construction of it.
Yeah.
It's a well-oiled machine, this show in particular. The construction of it, if you look at it and break it all down, and the mechanics of it are work of genius. But I don't know how long him and Eric put it together for, John Dupree and Eric and all the lads, they put it together. I think there was a lot of workshop going on with it, but it's a finely tuned greyhound of comedy, this show.
I get that, and that's very humble, but if my mother tried to read this script, it wouldn't quite sound the same as if you did it.
Well, I don't know, I've never met you. Oh, I have met your mum, haven't I?
Probably.
I think I have met your mum.
Very good looking woman, very lucky as well.
Yeah, no, I've met some of the people that you bring to my gigs. I remember you leaving someone in the car park once going, oh, don't worry, she'll find a way round. Do you remember that? In Birmingham. You remember that? I've just remembered. Where is he? He's here. I don't know. He's left me. He left me here. He told me to meet me here. Well, he's gone, love. He's gone. Find a taxi. Get your coat and find a taxi, love.
Listen, the thing about you is you are amazing at what you do, and I hope you know that. And the fact that you've had this career that seems to go on and on and on is brilliant and a tribute to your success. I hope you know that.
Yeah, I know it. I know.
So you can't take a compliment. I think in life you've got to know when to take a compliment.
Yeah, absolutely. Please don't give me one now, because I'll struggle.
Well, I'm struggling to think of one about you.
It's all right. Thanks. It's nice to see you, Alex. I like your hair.
Listen, no, don't touch my hair.
Don't touch that.
The thing about you is...
The person that touched his hair was left in Birmingham.
in a car park.
Yeah.
No, and the thing about you that's amazing is you could have just been a copy of your father doing what he's doing, but you haven't. You've done something completely new and different and formed a whole new audience. I'm sure 50% of which don't even know that Joe Pasquale is your dad, and that's amazing. And I think you should really be championed for that, because there's so many people who live on the coattails of other people.
Well, thank you very much, Alex. That's a really nice thing to say.
It's like championed. And is it French champignon? What's that? Is that
That
mushrooms?
champagne, isn't
No,
it?
what's mushrooms in French?
I don't know. Let's get back to man sausage and Hollyoaks, because that was far more interesting.
No, but what is the word for French
I
word?
don't know what you're talking about.
Mushrooms.
The French word for mushrooms?
Yeah, it's champignon. Yeah, find it now.
What do we need to know this for?
It is champignon.
There you go, champignon.
What a wonderful way to end this interview. I mean, it couldn't have been more perfect.
No.
I mean, everybody else, we are the champions. That's what they would have gone to, but not you.
He should be mushroomed for what you've just said. That's what I was getting at here. You should be mushroomed for doing your own thing.
Yeah, but
We are the mushrooms, my friend.
I'm man sausage, you're mushrooms. There we go. Hey, listen, great to talk to you. Joe Pasquale, one of my heroes and an all-time great. Good luck with the summer tour. And what's next for you, Joe?
I don't know. I'm available for like bar mitzvahs and weddings and stuff. So whatever you want.
To bring mushrooms.
Well, yeah, to bring mushrooms. Yeah, I do a really nice 15-minute erotic dance number with a scarf.
And a kumquat.
I beg your pardon.
Kumquat.
Can we say that on YouTube?
We have now.
Yeah.
I'm not repeating it.
I won't do any of that. Just come to Vegas with me. I think it's a new career for you.
Please, I'd love that. Please take me away.
The two Joes. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
You're very small down under, Alex, it's been told to me. Like a button mushroom, champignon.
A button champignon.
Button champignon. There's a little French song there. Button champignon.
There's not a song.
There is.
Really?
Have you finished?